this is the view out of my side window.
As National Parks traveler Micah Meyer drove through Big Bend National Park in southwestern Texas, he was immediately struck by its beauty.
Oh my gosh, is this place real?
It's just this magical landscape that has really evolved over time.
That magical landscape covers more than 324,000 hectares, ranging from dry, hot desert to cool mountains, and part of the Rio Grande, which forms the natural 1,600-kilometer-long border between Texas and Mexico.
It's like something straight out of a Wild Wild West movie.
The park's varied landscape is home to a wide variety of plant and animal species. Micah got to enjoy some of that diversity up close at the Rio Grande Village Nature Trail on the banks of the river. After his hike, Micah immersed himself in the park's ancient hot springs, which are believed to have healing powers.
Not the worst way to spend an afternoon.
On day 2 of his trip, Micah got to wade across the Rio Grande into Mexico.
I'm approaching the middle, and it's still not even up to my knees. We have successfully walked across the Rio Grande from the United States to Mexico. Come on, buddy. Come on.
He rode into town on a horse.
¿Cómo estás?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, bien.
After entering the town of Boquillas, visitors are supposed to check in at Mexican customs.
And after doing that, he stopped for lunch.
I'm starting out with 3 vegetarian tacos and corn tortillas.
After wading back across the Rio Grande, Micah headed for the Chisos Mountains.
It was dry, and my glasses were fogging up, and I had sunscreen in my eyes, and I was sweating, and my nose was running because it was cold up there. I felt so miserable, but it was so gorgeous that I couldn't help but keep a pep in my step and keep going.
Come on, Micah. You can do it.
He made it all the way to Emery Peak, the highest point in Big Bend National Park.
Whew. Did it.
By day 3, Micah was ready for some canoeing. Starting at the mouth of the Santa Elena Canyon, he got to enjoy a float down the Rio Grande River, at least for part of the journey. The water was so shallow in some areas, the canoes had to be towed.
One of the guides is pulling 2 canoes at the same time to help get people over these really shallow parts. So it was not like the wild rafting excursion you might imagine. It was more like a very shallow canoe float.
On his 4th and final day in the park, Micah, who's on a mission to visit all 400-plus national park sites, was taken on a long and bumpy tour through some of Big Bend's most remote areas.
I was exhausted and disgustingly dirty and dusty, but also fulfilled that I had really fully experienced this park and got to see portions of it that I never imagined I would get to.
After his time in Big Bend National Park, Micah says it's now one of his favorites. Julie Tabo, VOA News, Washington.